Fantasy basketball pickups. Larry Nance Jr. deserves attention. Can Wembanyama surpass Jokic in fantasy? Raphielle Johnson and Noah Rubin discuss the recent dominance of Victor Wembanyama and if he can surpass Nikola Jokic in fantasy this season. Monday marked the final day of games before Christmas, as the entire NBA will take Tuesday night off. With 14 games on the schedule, there was much information to sift through. While there may not have been any elite performances from players rostered in less than half of all Yahoo leagues, some provided solid value. One is Hawks backup center Larry Nance Jr., 13% rostered, who has moved into the rotation with Onyeka Okongwu sidelined by a knee injury. Boasting a more varied skill set in the two-man game, Nance stood out defensively in the Hawks' win over Minnesota. Playing 21 minutes off the bench, he accounted for 6 points, 2 of 4 fees, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks, and 2 three-pointers. Nance's overall value was more significant than starter Clint Capela's, and he's recorded a complete stat line in 3 consecutive games. Atlanta ends Week 9 with 3 games in 4 nights, beginning with the Bulls on Thursday, and Okongwu will be re-evaluated after Christmas. Adding Nance wouldn't be the worst idea, especially if Okongwu isn't ready to return. Another Hawks player to consider on waiver wires is PG/SG/SF DeAndre Hunter, 41%, who has scored 15 points or more in 12 straight games. To describe his defensive production as limited would be generous. Still, Hunter's offensive value, especially with Bogdan Bogdanovic dealing with a leg injury, makes him worth the risk in the short term. Here are some more low-rostered players who provided value on Monday. Over the past 2 weeks, Beasley has provided top 75 per game value in 9 cat formats, performing well whether he's asked to start or come off the bench. He logged 26 minutes in Monday's win over the Lakers, tallying 21 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, and 5 three-pointers. Beasley's production has been critical, as starters Tim Hardaway Jr. and Tobias Harris have been inconsistent recently. The Jazz guards haven't been exceptionally reliable in fantasy basketball this season, but Clarkson had a good night off the bench in their loss to the Cavaliers. With Keontae George, ankle, sidelined, he played 33 minutes, finishing with 27 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block shot, and 3 three-pointers. The shooting, 7 of 17 fees, and turnovers, 4, weren't great, but Clarkson will be worth a look if George remains out for Thursday's game in Portland. Finding value among the Raptors, bigs with Jakob Poeltl grown, sidelined, can be difficult. Jonathan Mogbo has been the replacement in the starting lineup, but the rookie hasn't been too productive. Kelly Olynyk, 12%, has a proven track record, especially in tanking situations, but he remains on a minutes restriction. So, should we roll the dice on Butcher? You never know what can happen, but he had a good night in Monday's loss to the Knicks. In 19 minutes, he accounted for 16 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals, 1 block, and 4 three-pointers. Toronto returns to action on Thursday in Memphis. Butcher is a risky play, but he may have value if Poeltl remains out. PS/C Gostron Yabusel, 5%, Philadelphia 76ers. Philadelphia had an eventful Monday night in their win over the Spurs. Joel Embiid was thrown out during the second quarter. Before that, Andre Drummond was initially tossed himself before the second technical was overturned due to Victor Wembanyama flopping to buy a call. But that wasn't all, as Drummond toe and KJ Martin foot exited during the third quarter and did not return. Enter Yabusel with the Dancing Bear, putting up 17 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals, 1 block, and 3 three-pointers in 32 minutes. If Drummond and Martin cannot play in Philadelphia's Christmas Day game in Boston, Yabusele will be worth adding in deep leagues. A player who some fantasy managers were willing to use a late-round pick on in drafts, Clowney has been disappointing thus far. However, he started Monday's loss to the Heat and recorded a line of 19 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and 4 three-pointers in 30 minutes. Dorian Finney-Smith, calf, being out opened the spot in the starting lineup for Clowney, and DFS's status will impact the second-year Big's value in the short term. However, Clowney is someone whose value should increase as the season progresses, especially if the Nets continue to move veterans in hopes of improving their draft lottery odds. Christie has started the Lakers' last 6 games, retaining his spot even after Austin Reeves and LeBron James returned from their respective injuries. The offensive production has been inconsistent, but Christie played well in Monday's loss to the Pistons. In 33 minutes, he tallied a season-high 17 points, 1 rebound, 2 steals, and 3 three-pointers. One game isn't enough to make Christie trustworthy in most fantasy leagues, but he's worth a look in deep leagues for Christmas Day, with the Lakers visiting Golden State in one of 5 games on the slate. Cleveland was without Isaac Okoro, shoulder, and Dean Wade, knee, for Monday's game against the Jazz, and Kenny Atkinson turned to Utah native Merrill to fill the void. Shooting 6 of 11 from 3, he tallied 20 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists, and 3 steals in 24 minutes. In addition to the Okoro and Wade injuries, Merrill is at the mercy of Max Strus playing time, as he remains on a minutes restriction after an ankle injury prevented him from making his season debut until December 20. The schedule also hurts, as Cleveland plays once more in Week 9, Thursday at Denver. If you didn't add Merrill before Monday, don't change that until the statuses of Okoro and Wade for Thursday's game are known. The Magic have been hit hard by injuries, most recently losing Moritz Wagner to a torn ACL. His absence on Monday pushed Wendell Carter Jr. to the bench, with Queen receiving the starting nod. He played well in Orlando's win over the Celtics, accounting for 17 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 3 steals, 1 block shot, and 3 three-pointers in 34 minutes. Is that production level sustainable for Queen? Given the career track record, probably not. But rolling the dice on him may be more palatable for fantasy managers who have been burned by Carter, Anthony Black, or Jonathan Isaac.